Welcome back to The Quest. I am Nicholas K. Week 6 of The Quest, and we have made it to the semifinal phase. We will take it to our first match this week in our semifinals. Anthony Gangone against Pat Dynamite. Now, let's take a quick look about how these two competitors have gotten to this point. Anthony Gangone with a victory over Matt McIntosh and a loss against Drake Chambers. But Pat Dynamite has yet to score a victory in this match at all, here based solely on in-ring performance. In order to advance to the next phase of the quest, he will have to do something he has not done yet: win a match. Let's take it to the ringside commentary team, Arcadia, Wade Kruger.
Of two semifinal matches here at the Quest, we have the winner of the blue pod, Anthony Gangone, and the runner-up of the red pod, Pat Dynamite, here in Tom's River,
formerly known as Ellis Taylor.
Yes. And I missed the stats. I was too busy talking to you.
It's right. We know the stats that Ellis Taylor, stuck his way in. Vertigo did not have a great performance against Azrieal. Did not have a great performance against Pat Dynamite, which is what puts him in the category.
And I know that Anthony Gangone scummed his way all the way here to the semifinal.
Well, I think what Pat Dynamite needs to do is learn from his past performances, right? He had an okay performance against Azrieal, did not perform well against Matt Vertigo. So what he needs to do is focus on what worked against Azrieal that got him here, and how he can beat a guy like Anthony Gangone.
He might just be a little in over his head here with Gangone. Gangone hasn't really faltered. He's been pretty consistent thus far.
But he does have that surprise loss, the very first match of the tournament, to Drake Chambers. And I think that is always going to be in the back of his mind. And I think that might even fuel him a little bit more. But it looks like Pat Dynamite has a little bit of an advantage here early in this match with that STO.
And he's got to keep the eyes in the back of his head. He's got to stay on Gangone, because Gangone, much like Azrieal, you give him a little opening. Where Azrieal will use the speed to make you pay, Gangone will do something underhanded.
Very similar styles, right? Very predatory, very cautious. They strategize. They're just doing to the game.
Just different in their approach on how they do it.
Oh, look at that! You don't think Gangone took offense to being STO to hit him with one of his own?
He's not afraid to take shortcuts. Not afraid to hit you with your own move to pay you back. Like he will punish you for that stuff.
I don't think aggressive is a strong enough word.
No, I prefer scummy. I'm gonna stick with scummy.
Violent, strategic, vile. You're mean. So is he. Well, you can't be mean to mean people. And we mean to you back.
It balances out.
A nice European uppercut there to the back.
I don't think he's ever even been to Europe. That's how underhanded he is. He's doing moves he stole from other continents that he's never even been to. That is Anthony Gangone in a nutshell.
Let's see how it pays off for him. Now, early on, we have this our stats here. Control time early on leading towards Anthony Gangone. Not really a surprise. What we do see from Gangone usually, though, is less of a quick start and more of that middle piece of the match where he starts to dominate, right?
Yeah.
So this is actually a little bit different, where he does have some control time early on in the match, and I see
which that screams bad news for Pat Dynamite, because like Gangone usually kind of finds his groove in the middle. If he's already in his groove from the beginning and already dominating the match, then you're in trouble.
Well, I think being in the semifinals might be inspiring him to be that way. However, we do know early on, right, Gangone spends a lot of energy early on in the match trying to make sure he's in control, and that might come back to hurt him, because it hurt him last time against Drake Chambers.
Yeah, it's almost if you can last long enough to survive and get that win at the end again.
Right, and I think Gangone's style, he needs to start maybe looking to finish a little bit earlier.
Yeah, before that gas starts to run empty.
Right, and this is the stuff that he doesn't need, right? He's trying to maintain control early on, and he's already getting...
Yep, and that's a situation where the youth of Dynamite might come in handy here, because he's gonna have those reserves. He hasn't wrestled as long,
and he is flying around.
And yeah, he is showing that energy right now. He wants to go to the finals.
And I think, you think about a guy like Pat Dynamite, he's got nothing to lose. No, he came in here as the number 4 guy. He snuck his way into this tournament, played with house money.
He snuck his way in at this point.
Oh my, and a huge double stomp.
At this point, he's everyone's sleeping on him. So however far he goes, it's like nobody's seeing it come. He's got nothing to lose, literally nothing to lose.
Yeah, and I don't think Gangone was ready for the type of performance that we're seeing from Pat Dynamite. Like, this is not the type of performance we've seen in the past from him.
You just got to wonder if Dynamite got all of that double stomp with how greasy Gangone is. He might have slipped right off, didn't get that full stomp in. You know, just little advantages for Gangone.
Well, it seems like Gangone has slid his way into getting back into control.
Oh, it slipped right off the top rope there. And taking a shot to the outside here with a big boot.
Yeah, this is a lot closer than I think.
Here comes that kick, that patented boom. Just lit him up. From navel to chin, that kick connect.
Dynamite is feeling himself right now.
He's explosive. Pat Dynamite.
I think part of the reason is maybe he's surprised too that he's in the position that he's in. Like, maybe he's just putting it all out there. Oh, there he goes for that double stomp. Gangone knew it was coming.
Yep, and still one step ahead. The quick thinking Pat Dynamite, reversing the reversal.
I don't think Gangone was ready for this. I'm definitely surprised by what's happening right now with Pat Dynamite.
You got to wonder if almost it was like a bit of a trap game here for Gangone. He's like, yeah, I'm coming in against the lowest seed guy, barely snuck in here. Maybe underestimated Pat Dynamite.
And honestly, watching Drake Chambers win the earlier semifinal match maybe puts that a bullseye on Drake Chambers, where he's trying to come back and get revenge for that earlier loss.
Might have been looking past
and look past Dynamite. Well, don't look past Dynamite. It may blow up in your face.
Oh, got him.
You're rubbing off on me.
I've never touched you before.
That's true, you're right.
Back to the action? Why not?
It's so back and forth that I did not expect. And like I said, I think even... Oh, there you go.
Ooh. And Gangone's one of those... It didn't get all of that, but followed it up with a big knee. Didn't get the first.
And I think you even saw there was like a little pause for me, Gangone, and maybe he thought to himself, all right, well, maybe I need to put a little bit more in.
Yeah, before I go for this pin, I got to throw a little bit more.
Look at him shaking his head. He is just as confused as the rest of us. But I'm pretty excited to see Pat Dynamite with his performance. He looks fantastic.
He really does. And but he's just out here trying to show... maybe he was being underestimated. Maybe people were looking past him in this tournament as an easy win. And he doesn't want to be seen that way. He's got too much pride for that.
And maybe he's taking this tournament like other people take matches. We're slow in the early phase, right? And then once you get going, and we've seen it, it's been a steady incline from Dynamite throughout this entire process.
Maybe he's finding his groove, finding that momentum right now. We got a pretty even match here. I mean, the strikes are weighted one way, the controls the other way, but nothing too heavy either.
And I think this is probably the most even match we've seen.
Right? As far as, we've seen matches that maybe not a lot happened in that were kind of even. This match there's a lot happening, but they're both hitting haymakers. This is a heavyweight haymaker bout. They're just throwing bombs at each other.
And this is the type of matches that fans love to see, where it's just back and forth action, both guys.
And the big power bomb, Blue Thunder driver there. Ooh, this could go either way at this point. These guys have both taken a good amount of damage. They've taken strikes. They've taken big maneuvers. Like, any of these could end this match.
Yeah, and I think Gangone knows that in the back of his mind. He's got to be ready for it. Dynamite is, playing, like you said, playing with house money. So he's just excited to make sure that he has the opportunity to win this match.
Yeah, it's... The thing I think that gives Gangone a little bit of an edge is Dynamite might be out here just trying to kill. Like, hit that big move that, like, you take a guy out. Gangone knows that all he needs is a 3. He's not trying to just throw bombs. He might get that sneaky pin out of nowhere. You got to look out for that still with him all the time.
Dynamite is relentless right now, just going after Gangone. And that brainbuster that we saw earlier, this might put him away.
And he took a little time there getting that pin.
I think he wanted to put himself in position for this. Look at Dynamite.
Planet, he had this scouted.
Dude, what a performance right now.
Yeah. From the guy that you maybe didn't expect to give it, given his performance in the qualifiers.
And you could just tell by the way that this match has gone that Gangone definitely did not expect this out of him.
No. It's almost like Dynamite, this like a switch flipped of like, look, I made it here. Why not go win the whole thing?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You see where you start all the time, where you finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and Gangone is reversing now the submission.
This is deep.
Yeah, like look at the arc on that.
This is gonna be tough for Dynamite to work his way out of. When your opponent is literally
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
he had nowhere to go.
Yep.
And that's how quick things could change.
He suffocates, and he puts himself in a position to do that. And that's what Anthony Gangone did. Now he's going to make his way to the finals to try to avenge his original loss. So the match that we started with
Is the match we end with.
is the match that we end with.
Yeah, and one mistake from Dynamite, he let Gangone get his back there, and once he did, he had nowhere to go.
But what an unbelievable performance. I mean, Dynamite has stood out. Like, he absolutely
flowers.
He has definitely been the standout of this semifinal round.
Yeah. Of course, no respect shown from Gangone. Why would there be?
He just pointed at him. Yeah, he said, hey, this guy just wrestled a match.
He didn't shake his... Yeah, he said this guy was also in the ring with me. Didn't shake his hand. Didn't give him a pat on the back. Good job, kid. He's focused on the finals.
Well, he could have thrown him out of the ring, but he look at him. He allows...
Yeah, you're going to give him credit for not being more of a scumbag.
Well, with that, we probably will see the stats fly up on the screen, but before we do that, Pat Dynamite playing to the crowd, letting him know that it is a disappointing outcome, but the performance was not disappointing at all.
Very much something to build off of if he were to come back.
Absolutely an inspiring performance.
That could be the type of momentum that...
Oh, look at these strikes. These strikes, the numbers are so low as to compare to what Gangone is used to, and now let's see. Yeah, outperformed him in every aspect. The submission time is the only thing that really stands out to me as more of a Gangone thing.
He gave more strikes than he took. I mean, you really can't fault him. He left it all out there. He didn't win, but he left it all in the ring.
And we're going to send it back to the studio.
With Anthony Gangone securing his position in the Quest Finals, we now move on to our second semifinal matchup. Azrieal against Drake Chambers. Azrieal, our highest-ranking member of the Quest tournament, with a victory over Pat Dynamite and a loss to Matt Vertigo. Drake Chambers still undefeated in the Quest tournament, with victories over Anthony Gangone and Marcus Mathers. To find out who will secure our second position of the Quest Finals, we send it to our commentary team, Arcadia and Wade Kruger.
Semifinals here at the Quest. We have the winner of the red pod, Azrieal, versus the runner-up of the blue pod, Drake Chambers. We're here at Ridgefield Park, NFW. Shout out you guys for letting us do this there. And Arcadia, you want to go over the...
Yeah, we took a look at the stats. Obviously, the Quest rating, Azrieal went down from his first match. He had a 62. Now he's down to about a 57. That does play a little bit into Vertigo and how he performed in the match. But overall, Azrieal has dominated. And I think we just had a little discussion before this match even started, talking about getting ready for it. Azrieal doesn't need to do anything different.
No, just because he lost that match to Vertigo doesn't mean that he should change his approach. Because the stats show that he's doing enough to win. It's just he may have gotten caught, got a little unlucky there. It's like when a guy's making hard outs, you keep doing what you're doing. You don't switch it. You don't change up your approach. But here, now we're in the semifinals. Really all that matters is winning. Even if you outperform the guy, even if the guy's below the Horowitz line, if he gets that pin, he's moving on to the final.
Right, so I think this is where it sneaks it up. The strategy is going to change a little bit, right? Azrieal has been dominating performances, and that's fine as long as you come up with the W.
Yes, dominate but win. And Drake Chambers, the underdog in this, you got to think, based on the experience, based on the standings, but he's undefeated. Has not lost it.
He's got a great start here, right, with that Hurricane Rana back into an arm drag, and here comes the drop kick, right? Drake Chambers understands now what he needs to do in this match. He knows he needs to win. It's not going to be about all performance. It's going to be about the wins.
And he is staying on him here, utilizing the speed. Maybe one of the few guys that's faster than Azrieal. Not by much, but it's close. And Drake Chambers can keep up, but can't worry about the crowd there. Got to stay on. Azrieal will punish you for any mistake you make.
You used to not want to get involved with the crowd because of your rating, right?
Yeah.
Here, it's different. You give Azrieal any leeway, he's going to make you pay for it.
Yeah. You let him put his foot in the door, he's kicking it in.
Yeah, and that's the risk about wrestling Azrieal. He has dominated this entire performance.
Yes.
You got to think that he wants to win this tournament.
Even there is something as simple as an Irish whip. He turns it into a reversal that ends up with him hitting several strikes and knocking Chambers to the outside.
Oh, well, here's the control time, right? It looks like Chambers understands that, right? He took that early lead. A minute of control time early on, strikes, and now, even though Azrieal gets him onto the apron, it looks like Chambers back in control.
Yeah.
So it looks like this is something that we haven't really seen from There you go.
And then he took that second to show off and let everybody know he was going to punch him, and Azrieal
Can't do that, buddy.
and then he dumps him right on his head.
Right, well, Azriel's going to make you pay for any mistakes that you make.
He extra made him pay. That's the hardest part of the ring, Arcadia, that he just dropped him head first.
I may have heard that before.
Yeah,
And a nice drop kick to the chest there for good measure, as Azrieal is now in control.
and Drake Chambers on the floor, and that's the hardest part of the floor also. So, you don't want to be out there.
And now, see, this is where the strategy changes, right? You used to want to stay on top of your opponent, make sure you get those points.
Let him get counted out.
Yeah, who cares, right?
Yeah, doesn't matter to you. At this point, you're just trying to win the match. You've done enough to make it this far. Just win.
Yeah,
Just win.
that's it. And I think Azrieal has that in mind as he is stomping and slamming Drake Chambers to the mat.
You can use those extra moments. Maybe you don't want to stay on top of your opponent. Maybe you want to take that breather because it'll help you win. Maybe the control, we've shown that there's a pretty strong correlation between stuff like control time and winning matches, but maybe you're you take the foot off the gas a little bit at times.
And I think the point here is to find the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be over aggressive where you're trying to do it too much, too quick.
Yep.
Right? Find that sweet spot of maintaining control throughout the entire match. And that's what Azrieal does. And he's done for 20 plus years. He is just choking the life out of Drake Chambers right now.
Yeah. And Chambers can't stay on his feet. That's going to be a hard, if this guy's already on you this much, this early, that's bad news.
Right, and I think that plays a lot into who Azrieal is as a person, right? He's a master of all. Well, and here's the switcheroo on it. Chambers looking to try to get it right here.
Couldn't get the pin. Azrieal back up first, though, and
Of course, and that's a cardio machine.
Yeah. He doesn't waste any time. He's always doing something.
And this is what we're seeing, right? It settles in. Chambers led early, had the strikes early, had the control time early, and now look, right? Now Azriel's climbing back up, feeling good about himself, right? And the control time goes up.
Yep. And Chambers staying alive here, but we'll see how this goes as time goes on here. And Azrieal just stalking him, just staying on him, stomps to the back.
And I think that's a good way of putting it, right? He's a predator, man. He stalks his prey. He goes out there. He knows what he wants to do.
And you do a part, methodical.
Yep, he is a surgeon. Chambers is going to need to make sure he puts a little bit more effort into this stuff, right? Because it's not going to phase Azrieal. This is exactly what he needs to do. Stay on top of him, right? And use your ability. There it is.
And that's beautiful. When you're wrestling somebody like Azrieal and you're somebody known for high risk, that risk is so much higher because if you miss, he's going to punish you for it. It's not like you're going to miss and get another shot. It might be over. If that risk doesn't pay off, you might lose.
Right. Stay on him. That big boot. Here we go. What do we see?
I'm going to say a flip. And
whoa,
there it is.
Huge moonsault. That was beautiful.
Right into the pin, but Azrieal, a little bit too much left in the tank for that one.
All right, Chambers, nice flurry. Got to stay on him.
We've seen it. I think Chambers is going to need to hit that top rope spiral tap, but it's a scary thought against Azrieal because if you miss, you're not getting another shot. You only get one shot at that.
Well, yeah, and we've talked about it the entire series long, is that high risk, high reward move is going to pay off if it does, right? But if you go up there and you leave any doubt, it's going to come back to haunt you.
And then going for the fatality there, but
whoa! Oh, I have not seen that out of Azrieal in ages. Yeah, and he is mad. And you could just tell he is an angry fella right now.
Yeah, and a little bit of a rookie mistake. I know Chambers been around a little bit, but compared to Azrieal, a little bit of rookie mistake. Went for that fatality, but that puts you in a position to turn your back on Azrieal.
Yeah.
And if you turn your back on Azrieal and you're screwed. You're flat out screwed.
Strikes are even.
Oh my God.
Not anymore.
Kicked his face off his face.
Strikes were even, and the control time clearly in Azriel's camp, right?
And that was proof that not all strikes are created equal, because that was a
That was a bomb of a kick. And see, I think this sometimes is what comes back and haunts Azrieal, right? He gets too locked in. Not even that. He gets too aggravated about not being able to put people away as quick as he wants to. And then he starts hearing it from the crowd. Then he starts engaging, right? Telling everyone he's the good guy. And I think what he needs to do is just focus on dominating Drake Chambers.
And I think that comes with some of the experience for Azrieal. Oh, you see that frog splash again? Huge frog splash.
Ooh, beautiful.
Oh, God.
He got him. That's it. This is how he ended the match before.
No. Chambers fighting back. But yeah, Azrieal, he's been around so long, he starts to feel himself in there a little bit. And you could see it.
You could see it.
Yeah, and
you could see it. Look at the anger with the referee, right? It's not the referee's fault. You have to make sure you do enough to keep him down.
Yep. Yeah, Azrieal, he can get it. He can be his own worst enemy sometimes. The person most known for beating Azrieal in his career is probably Azrieal.
That's a great point. And let's see if that comes back to haunt him here, right? That argument with the ref instead of staying on top of him.
Chambers, he's not letting Chambers get to that vertical base. He had to struggle just to get up in a corner.
Is there anyone as vicious as Azrieal? Look at it, just make it.
In this tournament, absolutely not.
Oh my God. Here we go. Drake Chambers firing back now.
Big punches,
but cut him off again.
turned his back.
That's it. Don't turn your back on Azrieal.
Might end up in a body bag. But Chambers rolling through, had that scouted.
Wow, what are you back? Oh, into a flatliner.
And that's where I say, you got to start giving bonus points. When you start stringing stuff together like that,
There needs to be a coolness factor.
Well, if there's not a cooldown between the moves, it should it should boost them. You know what I mean?
We got him going to the top. Here we go. If he hits it, it's over. He nails it.
He hit it. That's gotta be it.
Oh my God. Drake Chambers is heading to the finals of the Quest.
And that's it. That's got to be a massive upset. I know we've said that he hasn't lost yet, but Azrieal was the top seed going into it.
So absolutely.
That's a huge upset for Drake Chambers.
Huge upset. And the huge upset is probably only to us looking on the outside. I think Drake Chambers has proven to this, at least to himself, that he can and beat the best that we have to offer in this tournament.
And I don't think Azrieal can be upset with the performance. He can go home and look at the stats of his performance and I think be happy with them, just that the outcome didn't turn out the way that he had hoped. I know he will not look at it that way.
And I think Azrieal and Happy do not go along in the same sense. Look at him, he's still angry, yelling at people that don't deserve it.
But who's to blame? I think he could head high and say, like, he went out there and performed, and he left it out there, and it just didn't go his way.
Right.
Well, it just doesn't go your way.
And we're going to take a look at the stats to see exactly which way or how it went, to see if it can kind of give us a glimpse into the differences between the way as Azrieal performed in the tournament and the way he performed in our pods, to see if there is any sort of discrepancy
here. Out there for Chambers. He definitely, that can't be good.
There we go. Yeah, and look at this. Level 1 strikes. He struck more in this match than he has in any other match before. Control time low, but we're going to see that from Chambers.
And then 4 went to submission time, but see, Azriel's still 22.
Right.
Controlled a lot of the match, went for a lot of pinfalls. I don't think he can be disappointed with his performance.
Nope, and we're going to send it back to the studio.
Now let's take a look at the rating for this week's Quest competitors. We would like to thank Northern Fed of Wrestling and Titan Wrestling for hosting the Quest this week in our semifinal phase. And with that, our finals are set. Anthony Gangone against Drake Chambers. Tune in next week to the Quest. I am Nicholas K. You are on the Quest.